Hello, greetings, and of course, g'day, mate. I've been through this twice now. Once I forgot to record. The second time, it was just so bad. I have to do that. This is the third time doing this. Third time's the charm. Welcome to the monthly action figure roundup. I am Connor, also known as the Howlitzer Hound to literally no one. Everyone just calls me Connor, but I like to think people know me as the Howlitzer Hound. Living the gimmick. I'm living the gimmick. I'm embracing living the gimmick. And yeah, welcome to the very first monthly toy roundup, toy news roundup, I should say. If you can't tell, I'm a little nervous, a bit flustered. It's a bit awkward just talking to a camera by myself without someone like Sam or Ashraf to bounce off of, but this is fine. It's fine. We'll get through it together. I'll try and make this as painless as possible. Long story short, I want to talk about toy news, but I can't respond to toy news as it's happening like people like Shadamus Prime or Prime v Prime can. And I can't do weekly like someone like Robo from the Foosh can. So I'm going to do it monthly. I'm going to talk about the biggest, most relevant, coolest toy news that I like from the previous month of toy news of like, say, for this video, it's going to be March, and then release it on the first Friday of the following month. So this is coming out on the first Friday of April. We're going to talk about March. Yeah, I don't really know how to transition from that intro, so how about we just jump into talking about some toys, shall we? Some beautiful, lovely, amazing toys. Just so you know, if you're watching this on YouTube and you prefer like your podcasts or your audio versions, I will be releasing an audio version of this onto Spotify at the same time as releasing this onto YouTube. So again, if you prefer your podcasts, these will be going there. I'll try and make sure that I remember that I'm not just being recorded on video, but re-recorded for the podcasts. I'm bad at that part still, where I just presume everyone can see me, even though they can't, because they can't. Sorry about that. Well, let's jump in, hey, shall we? Let's start with some Marvel toy news, specifically WandaVision. Now, WandaVision's last few episodes came out at the start of this month, and almost as soon as that happened, the internet was bombarded with like WandaVision merchandise, t-shirts, headbands, backpacks, and of course action figures as well. Just got let loose onto the World Wide Web. Relevant to us is not those headbands, although I will admit the Scarlet Witch like headband thing that I saw they were selling looked pretty wicked. We're here to talk about the action figures. There's a Marvel Select Scarlet Witch that got shown off. That looks pretty neat. Not the best face sculpt I've seen. I don't collect Marvel Selects. I have a couple, though, around. Like, I got the Marvel Select Destroyer on my Asgardian shelf because it works with Marvel Legends. That, this one probably not so much because it is a larger toy line and larger characters only really work with Marvel Legends. And last time I checked, Elizabeth Olsen isn't 8 feet tall. We also got the pictures for the Hot Toys WandaVision releases. Scarlet Witch and Vision, respectively, got releases for this. And if I won the lotto, man, I wouldn't quit my job, but I would definitely start collecting Hot Toys because these look so good. Vision is pretty similar to previous versions of Vision, although there are some differences in like the cape design is different from like the Age of Ultron version I was looking at. The body, like the fabric of the torso seems tighter on the body, and the abs seem more well defined on the new WandaVision Vision compared to previous ones. So that's some differences I noticed while looking at them. He looks cool. I like the way the WandaVision Vision looks. The WandaVision Vision. Anyway, getting on to the Wonder of WandaVision, the Scarlet Witch. Oh my lord. This might be the one that this one almost broke me, guys. Like previous Spider-Man Hot Toys figures almost broke me and almost made me want to get a Hot Toys figure for the first time. Well, not almost want to. I always want to. They all look so good. But I mean, like almost go, yeah, it's worth really shelling it out. I can afford this. I'll do it. But this one, after all those Spider-Men, is the one that's really made me go, oh, I want it. It's such a good costume. And Hot Toys seem to live and die on how good the thing that they are replicating already looks, because they are so accurate to the real life thing they are making a toy of. So of course, in this case, it is this stupendous Scarlet Witch costume, probably one of my top 5 favorite MCU costumes already, and it's only been around for less than a month. And yeah, it just looks stunning. I will note that it does seem to be like a struggle for toy companies to replicate Wanda's wavy powers in any significant way. Like, it works well enough for what they got here. They got like little waves of energy and glowing hands for the Hot Toys version here. It works. It works for what they're going for. You know what they're replicating. It looks cool. I think it looks cool. Speaking of the effect parts, let's move over to the Marvel Legends Scarlet Witch, who's reusing old effect parts, the ones that they had given to previous MCU Scarlet Witch toys. I think it pulls off what it's trying to pull off. I think the Hot Toys does it the best when it comes to replicating her powers, but Hot Toys obviously is a Hot Toy figure, so it has a larger scale and more budget to play with when it comes to these things. For what Marvel Legends is going for, it's a pretty good representation of her powers, and you can do a lot with the soft, rubbery plastic that they use to make these effect pieces. And if you have some of the previous ones, like I do, you've got a few to work with. You could combine them and lay them over each other and really mess around with your display options for WandaVision. For WandaVision. Screw it, leave that one in. For Scarlet Witch, the actual figure itself looks amazing. The costume looks good, and the Marvel Legends team has nailed it. That face is well better than the Marvel Select one that we were talking about before. I'm very happy with that. I would have taken something lesser, but given that the previous MCU Scarlet Witch actually had a really good face sculpt with really good face print technology that was part of the Toys R Us exclusive 2-pack, if I'm not mistaken. That's oh boy, that takes me back. Toys R Us, man, miss ya. But yeah, so the Toys R Us exclusive 2-pack that came out with a Vision actually had a very good face sculpt. So I'm glad this one seems to be around that level of quality. We've combined that with this amazing costume. This is going to definitely be taking a spot, replacing the previous one on my shelf. As for the Vision, he's actually also the same toy from that 2-pack, just done in white and gold accents. Not much more to be said about that. It's even got the same accessories. So it looks good. White Vision looks cool. I've come to the conclusion that he technically is slightly separate to the red, gold, and green Vision that we've been seeing this entire time. So I'm gonna have him on the shelf as a separate character. I've convinced myself of that, and there's nothing you can do to change my mind at all. These guys look like they'll be part of like a Disney Plus themed wave of Marvel Legends alongside a bunch of Falcon and Winter Soldier characters. There was already like a theory that was going to be the case based on some some leaks that happened earlier on. But we have got unofficial confirmation due to some photos of grainy, horrible photos of a Bucky, a John Walker, and a Zemo, all with pieces of Falcon's wings, which imply that the Build-A-Figure is going to be Falcon's wingsuits, which I'm all for. I was really happy when they done that for the MCU Vulture, which for podcast listeners, if you can't see, I'm actually pointing at my MCU Vulture on the shelf. You can actually even see his massive Build-A-Figure wings if you really look closely for those watching on YouTube. Anyway, I was happy when they did that back in 2017, sorry. So I'm more than happy to accept it being done now with Falcon. It just means we'll have a more detailed, larger wingspan with more articulation. And that's never a bad thing. So I'll totally accept it as a Build-A-Figure, especially if there's no better option for a Build-A-Figure in the wave. Now, speaking of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, we're actually going to jump in to just quickly talk about the fact they got some SH figure arts being released for Falcon and Winter Soldier. I don't have any Marvel. Well, actually, no, that's a lie. I've got one Marvel SH figure arts figure, and that is the Infinity War pronunciation, Infinity War Hulk, which was really good. That was my standard MCU Hulk until I got Smart Hulk, and then I used him as my comic Hulk until I got the 80th anniversary 2-pack Hulk. But that SH figure arts Hulk is a good Hulk. And I collect SH Figure Arts Dragon Ball figures, and I've been wondering, maybe I should get in onto the MCU SH Figure Arts game. This might be the time I'll do it, because looking at these, Falcon gets not only a flight stand, but Red Wing gets a flight stand. Look at that. Look at little Red Wing with his own little mini flight stand attached to attached to Falcon. Oh, that's so good. I love it. I want it. I want it so bad. He's so cute. Little Red Wing with his little stand. That's the selling point. The whole rest of the figure, it looks great, mind you, as they always do. It's SH Figure Arts. But it's the little flight stand for Red Wing that is actually selling me on this $100 plus toy. What am I? Really, what am I? Well, we're going to move back into Marvel Legends from that. And I'm going to quickly touch on the Black Widow 2-pack that got revealed not too long ago. A 2-pack with Red Guardian and Melina Vostokov. I'm looking over here because I'm actually reading the name because I don't want to get it wrong. This is a really awesome looking 2-pack. First of all, we already have an MCU Red Guardian, but as many people already know, that isn't an accurate Red Guardian toy. Hasbro, when they make toys for MCU movies, are usually working with concept art when they make these toys. So for them to then be able to release the toy in time, they have to just trust that the movie doesn't change, that they don't change their mind on what version of the character they're working with in the movie, or else, like Col Obsidian up here, they will end up with an inaccurate toy. This seems to be a case where, because Black Widow has been pushed back so far, Hasbro's been able to go in and redo Red Guardian and to, give us a better one and release him in a 2-pack with a character who hasn't gotten a Marvel Legends figure before. So I'm okay with that too. Any new character, especially an MCU character that can help bolster my shelf up there, which I got to finish sorting out for those who are also listening to podcast. My shelf is still a shambly mess that I haven't been able to fix up yet. Still got to dust the other figures. It's fine. I'll get to it. But yeah, I'm always happy to have more characters on my MCU display, especially the side characters. They really help give the display some life and something extra, something different, even though this looks like it is basically just a new head sculpt on that previous Black Widow's body. I'll be getting it, obviously, like I do with just about every Marvel Legends release. I'll get my hands on it at some point, even if it's just for the fact that the head sculpt on Red Guardian, so good. I did a little chef's kiss there for those listening on podcast. Well, that's all the Marvel news we've got this month. So how about we move over to the other side and talk about DC, because there's a few DC things worth mentioning. Mostly, the Justice League Snyder Cut came out this month. Have you heard about it? No one seems to be talking about it. I kid, that's sarcasm if you couldn't tell. There's just been a bunch of toys for the Snyder Cut being solicited, including some Mezco toys. Black Superman, Flash, and Batman all have solicitations for toys. I actually am pretty sure that Mezco was meant to release like a bunch of Justice League, like originally back in 2017 was meant to release a bunch of Justice League figures. I'm not sure if all of them got released. If they did, then obviously I'll correct myself later. But this might be now a better chance more than ever for Mezco to release some of those older toys that they didn't get to release, basically because no one liked the original Justice League movie. But everyone seems to love Snyder Cut, except for Ashraf. But I liked it. I actually really like the Snyder Cut. And these look super cool, but I'm not sure if I'll drop the money for some Mezco releases. But the Mcfarlane toys look pretty good, don't they? Mcfarlane has been absolutely killing it with their DC figures. I don't personally own any, but Ashraf owns a few. Sam sold a bunch, and they all look amazing. I've heard good things about them. It looks like DC has finally found their standard toy line, like their standard collector-friendly, but also general audience-friendly toy line in the Mcfarlane multiverse line. Even if it is mostly a Batman toy line, it looks like they're doing well. And Mcfarlane, man, these Justice League Snyder Cut Mcfarlane toys look awesome. We've got Darkseid, we've got Steppenwolf, we've got a couple of Batmen, a couple of Supermen, Wonder Woman, Flash, Aquaman, and Cyborg. So that's a pretty decent lineup. I genuinely am thinking whether or not I get a couple of these, especially like Steppenwolf and Darkseid. Like, they actually look really cool. I can't lie. I really like the way these characters look in the movie. Like Steppenwolf is an absolute beast in this film, especially the scene where he's just slaughtering the Amazonians. Like that is some killer stuff right there. I loved every bit of it. It was high fantasy nonsense, and I'm all for it. That scene alone made me like go, oh yeah, okay, cool. This is cool. I want a Steppenwolf toy now. And Mcfarlane looks like they're providing, so I might grab it myself. Darkseid looks like a boss. He's also a meme now. He's also a meme. So, you know, get your meme toy, guys. Have Darkseid sit on a throne in your room and stare at you. Not much more to say. It looks really cool. I probably, maybe, possibly will get some of those McFarlane toys. Transformers is what's next on the list, and there's actually quite a lot to talk about here. There's been a lot that has come out, and some of it I don't think it was meant to. Like the third wave of the War for Cybertron Netflix series, that got found at like a random Walmart in America. It wasn't meant to be out. It hadn't even been solicited or announced yet. Like no one knew this was happening, and then some dude just walks up and goes, "Why? What's that?" So that was weird just to see that on TFW 2005 earlier this month. There are 4 deluxes, 2 voyages, and 1 spoiler pack. It's been spoiled, just so we're clear. We know what's in the pack, so it's not really a spoiler anymore. It's a spoiled pack. Anyway, there are the 4 deluxes include Cheetor, who's got a bit of a darker color scheme, especially that blue. The original Kingdom figure had like an Allspark blue coloration, but this new one has like a dark metallic blue, which actually makes the yellow pop quite a bit more. I actually really like the way it looks, but I'll see how I feel about it when I get it in hand. We also have Deep Cover, a blue sideswipe recolor. This one threw me in a loop because we had earlier this year had a Generation Selects Deep Cover announced, and on the day that I got my copy of the Gen Selects Deep Cover, this toy was found. So I like came home to see that there was another Deep Cover that looked nothing like Deep Cover already being like released, and I was like, like I've actually, for our podcast listeners, I've just pulled up my copy of the Gen Select Deep Cover. He's like black with like a blue and red accents with some like police badges and whatnot. This Netflix Deep Cover is just a blue sideswipe. So I looked up on TF Wiki to see if there was anything I wasn't getting. Like, is this a deep cut for Deep Cover? Not intentional. The pun was not intentional. And no, it's just literally it's sideswipe but blue, and they gave it the name Deep Cover because they wanted to give you a blue sideswipe because there's a couple of those in the Netflix show. Fair enough. We also get the Quintesson Guard, and oh, so close. These could have looked so cool, like a black and silver Siege Ironhide. Yeah, I would have really liked to have one of those, but it's a bit messy. The silver damage over the black pieces is just a bit too much. So I don't think it works as well as it could have. And finally, we have the Sparkler Spot. It's a zombie, guys. It's a zombie. It's a zombie transformer. It's been painted up to look like it's all rusty. It's basically gonna just end up being a Genericon for me, and for a lot of other people too, I assume. It's just going to end up being on the shelf as a generic Decepticon guy that others can beat up, like Autobots can shoot down, like the Viacons from Prime, essentially. The Voyagers. Now, we have a Optimus Primal with Rat Trap pack in. The Rat Trap looks pretty good. The coloration of Rat Trap is definitely a little bit more, like there's some more paint applications on Rat Trap. Optimus Primal, I'm not really sure what the difference is, but then again, I haven't taken that like severe of a look to go, what's the difference between this and the Kingdom release? Hoping to see some comparison shots soon, so I have a better idea of what is different. But I mean, it looks fine. It looks good. Not sure if I'll get it, but it looks good. The Sparkler Seeker, which is the other Voyager. I wanted to talk about this. Okay, so if you were to say to me about a month ago, hey Connor, we're going to get a new Siege Seeker mold, and it's going to come with a couple of Battle Masters. Who do you think it's going to be? I would have said any member of the Welcoming Committee and a couple of the Target Masters we have yet to get, like maybe say Haywire or either of Quake's Target Masters, you know? I wouldn't say Zombie Seeker. And I wouldn't say Zombie Target Masters because we still need those Welcoming Committee members. I genuinely think Hasbro's made the wrong decision. I want to say wrong decision here, but like it's not terrible. Like again, like the Genericon Rust bot, you can just use this as another Seeker on your shelf, and it doesn't look too terribly zombie-ish in the paint scheme. Although I did earlier today see some in-hand pictures of the toy, and he's got like this gnarly like cut down the face, like a big, like it's sort of like this weird Cheshire smile deal going on, and it actually looks pretty nice. Like it looks weird but cool. I like it, but you could just use that as like a regular scar and have this guy be some kind of scarred up commando guy, maybe like desert combat deal. I like it, but man, it wouldn't have been what I went with. Speaking of things I would have, the spoiled pack is consisting of Siege Megatron and Fossilizer Skelevor. Now, it's weird. It's actually really weird that they've done this. So they do have a Earthrise Megatron that hasn't been done up in this new shinier battle damage color scheme that they didn't do for this pack. They just took the Siege one and did it again. That's a weird decision. It makes the pack less valuable to collectors, I suppose. Like, I'm less likely to get this set now, knowing that it's the Siege Megatron and not the Earthrise Megatron. For those who aren't aware, the Siege Megatron is like a cyber tank, relatively like an alien tank type deal, and the Earthrise Megatron is basically the same toy, but instead of turning into an alien tank, it turns into an Earth tank, relatively. Yeah, that's the main difference. I actually like the Earthrise Megatron more, just because I like the industrial thick treads that he has on his legs and back. I actually just prefer the way that looks, partially because I love the Transformers Armada Megatron, and it reminds me of that. I would have expected them to use that mold for this set, but they haven't. They've seized but they haven't. They've used Siege Megatron. I don't know why. The Skelevor, which is a purple and silver, well, a translucent purple, I should say, translucent purple and silver repaint of Paleotrix. The fossilizers are genuinely amazing. I love these things. They're like skeletons that transform from robot to dinosaur skeleton that can come apart and be turned into like weapons and armor for other Transformers to use. It's so cool. You just get other Transformers walking around with like bone weapons and bone armor. It's so 90s. And, you know, Beast Wars is a product of the 90s. Like, it's so 90s. I love it. You know, this is the sort of thing you'd see in like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles toy line. Like, this is just that next level of like, what's like cool, but so cool it's almost stupid type nonsense. And I am all for it. Love myself from fossilizers. Love the clear purple with silver fossilizer we're getting here. I do like it. Also, this pack comes with the Matrix of Leadership, a strapped version that Megatron can wear on the chest, and the D20 of Destiny. So there is some value in this set, but would have been so much better if it was the Earthrise Megatron instead of the Siege Megatron. I think they just chose the wrong Megatron for this set. Moving on. Going from Netflix to Generation Selects, we have the War for Cybertron Gen Selects G2 Ramjet. Now, Gen Selects has done a couple of G2 figures. They've done the G2 Megatron and the G2 Sandstorm just last year. And before that, they did a different G2 Megatron. We also got G2 Sideswipe as part of an Amazon exclusive set. And back in Combiner Wars, we got a couple of G2 themed sets for like the not the Constructicons, sorry, the Aerial Bots, the Stunticons, and the Combaticons. So, you know, pretty cool stuff. We got quite a bit of G2 love going on here as of this point. G2 Ramjet looks awesome. I'll probably just have him on the shelf as a separate unnamed Seeker, as opposed to him being Ramjet. Like, I'll have him alongside my actual Ramjet and just have him be like, I don't know, what's a Seeker name? Turbulence. We'll call him Turbulence. Turbulence here looks amazing with the blue and the purple, very G2 colors. Like, G2 had this whole like 90s toy line for an 80s audience vibe going on, so like the colors are like so explicitly late 80s, early 90s, and I love it. I will be getting this just for the colors alone, but more Seekers the better. Like, genuinely, I can't say no to any Seekers. I got so many down here, and I can't say no to more. Also on the Generation Selects list, and God, I hate you, Hasbro. The Generation Selects Black Zarak was announced literally today. I don't know where I'm gonna put him, but I want him. Black Zarak is a Japanese exclusive, it's a Japanese original, not exclusive, original character from Super God Master Force. He's basically just a black, red, and gold repaint of Scorponok, but I mean, man, it looks so good. All right, the head sculpt is different from Scorponok. The actual robot for Lord Zarak that turns into the head for Scorponok, it has some new details in the horns. The face sculpt has an eye patch, and there's like a ripped open chest, like battle damaged chest, and it's so good. Like, the other day, I was tempted to buy the Black Rory, the version of Fastlane that was meant to go with this. I was so tempted to buy it the other day, but I didn't, because I look in my head, I'm like, I'm not sure if I'm ever actually going to want or need it or have a place for it on my shelf. And then boom, a couple days later, Hasbro announces this. I am happy they're doing it, but I need more shelves, man. I need more shelves. I don't have enough shelves. It's going to be like $300 to $400 for this. I already probably am going to buy it. You know what? I haven't checked yet, but I guarantee Robot Toys has already got like some kind of pre-order thing going on where I can put a small deposit down for it. If they have, probably order it through them. I'll probably order this through Robot Toys because of that, because I'm going to need all the help I can get to pay it off. Oh, man. I don't see Zing or EB carrying this. I just don't see Zing or EB carrying this. Who's going to carry it? Jeez. I mean, I've already seen Bulletproof Villain advertise that they're going to sell it. Or I think I did. They just showed some pictures up on their social media. Oh, man. It looks so cool, though, right? It looks so cool. I know these are digital mock-ups. They look so cool. Oh, also, I forgot to mention, it also has his spear. It's got his big, terrible, evil spear thing. I just forgot what it's called. Originally, Fastlane had like an alternate mode where he could transform into this spear. The Tyrant Spear, I believe it's called. Just off the top of my head. But because it transformed into the Tyrant Spear, it didn't work so well as a spear, because like the legs formed the handle and it would just bend. This has just been thrown on me today. I wasn't expecting to see this at all. Just before we move on from Transformers, we're also going to touch a little bit on Kingdom, because earlier there was some leaks for a Commander class Rodimus Prime, and then a little bit after that, we actually saw some pictures of a Commander class Rodimus Prime for Kingdom. And Takara Tomy just went, screw it, we'll just reveal it. And now we have actual pictures of the new Commander class Rodimus Prime, and it looks pretty awesome, if you ask me. The Rodimus Prime toy itself looks pretty awesome. Turns into a large supercar, futuristic supercar. The robot mode looks great. Someone mentioned his face looks really old, and like I actually really like that. Like, I know Rodimus Prime was meant to look kind of old anyway. He's got like really like bags under his eyes type look. I always loved that. I actually thought that looked so cool, and like seeing it kind of really amplified in the toy here, I actually am all for. I love the idea of like tired, weary Rodimus Prime because it leans into the whole like lacking in confidence aspect of the character. Like, am I good as Optimus? I'm so tired. I'm so worn. Am I doing as good of a job as Optimus would have? Aspect of the character. I love it. Comes with a gun and a sword that looks like they can combine. Also comes with a trailer that will make up a huge portion of the commander class aspect of the character. That trailer is pretty wicked looking. Splits open into some kind of attack base like the old toy did, including a turret that Rodimus can control. Stand behind like some kind of turret base. It looks like at the front of the trailer there are a couple of airlock clips, which means we can add it to other Autobot base mode setups, which is always cool. We need more base mode stuff going into Kingdom because that is such a cool thing. It's so cool. Like the play feature of all the bases connecting they introduced in like Earthrise and Siege. I want them just to continue it forever because it's so much fun. Like I can't believe how much fun it is just to connect all these little base modes together. It's great. More of that. It looks cool. It's a smaller Commander class figure. I think they tested the waters a bit by having the Voyager class Hot Rod in Studio Series, seeing if fans were willing to accept a smaller toy at a larger price for more accessories and better engineering. Which, given how good this, sorry podcast listeners, I'm just gonna pull up the Studio Series Hot Rod I got here. Given how good this toy actually is, I don't mind a more expensive price point for a smaller toy. Like SH Figure Arts, I collect that, and they're like $100 plus a figure, the same height as most Marvel Legends, but due to the quality, posability, and accessories of it, I'm more than willing to pay that. Same with Transformers, that will not be changing. So Commander class Rodimus Prime looks like he'll be a bit of a shorter figure, but with the trailer, the accessories, and hopefully some really good engineering in there. And man, these Commander class figures have had some amazing engineering. The Skylinks and the Jetfire have both been amazing. This looks like it's going to be no different. I'm excited to see what else it offers. Really am. It might also lead me to actually moving my Hot Rod off my shelf. Like I'm so not ready to get rid of this Hot Rod off my shelf, but I'd feel so weird having a Hot Rod and a Rodimus on my shelf. I have to decide which one I want, and I don't know which one it is. We'll see how good it is. We'll see how good Rodimus Prime is when he gets here. God, where am I going to put the trailer? There's a couple of other leaks, like a leader class Galvatron has been seen. That looks awesome. I won't really talk about it though, because I'd rather wait to talk about it when it's actually officially revealed and we can get a better understanding of what it actually is going to be. So just know that I've seen the spoiler, like the leaks. It looks cool. I hope it's as cool as it looks. All right, moving on away from Transformers, we got ourselves some Dragon Ball SH Figure Arts news. At the start of the month, like literally on day 1 of March, we got the Fighters Clone Goku. So this is an exclusive of some sort. I didn't really pay attention to where the exclusive was, to be honest, because I'm still mulling over the idea of whether or not I want to get one. I really kind of do, though. I really should look into if this is still available or not, but well, it looks cool. It's basically just your standard SH Figure Arts Goku, but colored to look like one of the clones from Fighters. Now, for those who don't know, Fighters is a Dragon Ball fighting game. It's probably the best Dragon Ball game of all time. It has this whole story mode where Android 21, which I got a figure of, sorry again, podcast listeners, I'll actually just pull up Android 21 here. She's like this Majin Buu type looking character. She has like a whole clone army running rampage through the Dragon Ball world. There's more to the story than that, but that's just the basic idea that it's part of her evil plan to have all these clones of the world's most powerful fighters run amok across the planet. And you know what? Black and red always look cool. So these clones look cool. might be worth getting one and giving Android 21 a bit of a clone army for her to command. Next up, we have Cooler. Oh, yes, Cooler. I'm so happy that we're getting Cooler. He was literally on my list of like top 10 Dragon Ball characters we need to get in the SH Figure Arts line. Like, I so wanted a Cooler. And we're getting him. And he looks so cool. I mean, he looks cool. He is cool because he's Cooler. This big hench design that just looks so... Like, everyone loves Cooler. Everyone loves Cooler because of how cool he looks. He doesn't do anything. He's just buff Frieza who shows up and gets his rear end handed to him by Goku twice. But he's just such a cool looking character in this awesome mode with the spikes and the shoulder pads and that lovely, lovely shade of lavender purple. I'm just happy it's happening. He looks so good. Like, that's what else can I say? He looks so cool. And that's the whole thing that Cooler has, is that he looks cool. So you've done it. You've nailed it, SH Figure Arts. This, I will be getting him. I will absolutely be getting him. And he will be planting as many dumbass trees as possible. It's a Team 4-star reference because I'm cool. Next up, we have Mythic Legions. I just want to touch on this real quickly because last month, 4 Horsemen done their All-Stars Wave 4 voting, and I voted in it, and 2 of the things I voted for got in. I was so happy when they got in. The 2 that got in that I ordered that I voted for were Tibius and Scaphoid. The 2 skeletons. I also voted for like a couple of dwarves and some orcs. But yeah, those are the 2 that I voted for that got in. The others that got in were Vitus and Sir Owain, which if I had the money for, I'd probably pick those up too because they look awesome. But 3 other figures that were added to the line that weren't part of the voting pool were, I'm going to get these wrong, Bryophytus and Mephitor. Homage figures of Mossman and Stinkor from the Master of the Universe line. I would probably get Bryophytus. I'd probably get Mossman if I had the extra money, because he's got all this what's it called? Flecking? So, there's a word for it. He's got all like the soft, the material thing all over his body, and it looks really cool. I actually really like that. That's really awesome. Mephitor, not as much. I like it, but I'm not a big Master of the Universe fan, so it's not that important to get all the homage figures. But it would be cool to have them all. It'd be cool to have all the Mythic Legions, obviously, because there's so many, and you could literally just have shelves of these different armies, which is half the appeal of Mythic Legions. But yeah, I'm not as sold on him as I am the other ones. The final figure that was added to this was the Forest Troll 2, the second attempt at a Forest Troll. It looks so good. It's this big, green, horrible monster. It's got 2 heads, but the one that really sells it is the huge horned head with the beard. That looks super wicked. Again, if I had the money, I would so be ordering him, but I don't have the money. I don't have the time to get the money together to buy it. So maybe one day in the future, but right now my Mythic Legions collection will go trollless. And finally, the last thing on the agenda today, the NECA Gargoyles Goliath. Now, I've ordered this. I ordered this through Robot Toys as soon as I had the chance. So excited. We've actually talked about it on the podcast, how much I like Gargoyles, how I've only really seen the first season in its entirety. I've seen bits and pieces of the other seasons here and there. I've really got to watch the other seasons because I loved that first season so much. I was so happy to see that anyone was doing a new line of Gargoyles toys. I'm pretty sure this is 1/12 scale, because Goliath has been said to be 8 inches tall in the description, and Goliath is massive. He is about 8 feet tall, so I think that makes him a 1/12 scale toy, which is pretty cool actually. you know, 1/12 scale is my thing. Marvel Legends, Mezco, Mythic Legions. There's a lot in the 1/12 line of figures that I really, really like that I collect. So getting a Gargoyles line? Yes, please. Yes, please. I don't actually collect anything NECA either, so this is cool. It's cool to get something from a toy company I don't usually get. The more Gargoyles we can get to the world, the better. Oh, right. Well, that was a rough one. I didn't realize how much my throat would hurt. This is what this is. Hopefully you like it. If you have any suggestions on how I can make this better for next month, please let me know. Put it in the comments in YouTube or send a personal message either through Facebook or Twitter or Instagram. We have all three of those. We've also got a Discord if you want to join that. Links to the Discord are on every YouTube video that we release. I have been the Howler Hound. That was the month of March, relatively, for toy news, sort of, kind of. And I hope your Friday is amazing. Take care, guys.